Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of the 33%. This is episode 7 of Talking Nerdy with Ruff. Today I'm going to do two TV show reviews and a movie that I watched just recently. Doing Dumb, the story of Big Brother magazine, the Orville from it's on Fox, and Sons of Anarchy. I'll probably do Sons of Anarchy than the Orville, but we'll see. So starting out, Dumb is the story of Big Brother magazine, and what Big Brother magazine was, for those of you who don't know, is in the early '90s. There was you gotta go through the whole play. In the '70s, skateboards was a novelty toy. In the '80s, there was a large influx of money and interest into the skateboarding community. When you go into the late '80s, it kind of fallen off. It wasn't quite back to a novelty toy. There were still professional skateboarders, but it had more changed from the vertical, half pipe, stuff like that, to street skating. And you still had people like Tony Hawk. I can't think of another one right now. I know Tony Hawk was skating at the time because he was one of the few that crossed over into street skating, or he was still relevant after the crossover. Most of them had left and or had went on about their lives, because skateboarding, well, it seems like a great, wonderful thing to do, and I'm sure it is, and it is fun. Once you get a certain age, you've got to pay bills, and it didn't always work out so well. Anyways, in the early '90s, there was two big skateboarding magazines. There was Trans World, which was kind of the cleaner cut, preppier skateboarding magazine, and then there was Thrasher, that was kind of the punk rock, in your face kind. And then Big Brother was formed. What Big Brother was, it was a skateboarding magazine that was formed in '92 by Steve Rocco. Who Steve Rocco was the founder of World Industries, and World Industries was one of the first to come out of the '80s into the '90s, really swinging as a is what we understand a skateboarding company is today. Before then, it was nothing like that. You still had like Peralta was a skateboarding team. Dogtown was a skateboarding team. In the late '70s and the early '80s, they fell apart. But World Industries was a really in your face, and they kind of, which, keep in mind, these guys at this time was fairly young. They was kids, because this was in the '90s. He might have been in his late 20s, early 30s. And basically what happened is he had an advertisement that they wouldn't put in Trans World or Thrasher. He's like, well, screw you guys, I'll make my own magazine. And he did. And the documentary's great. And a lot of y'all probably don't know this, but a lot of the people that people from my generation consider household names come from Big Brother. Wee Man, Chris Pontius, Steve-O, Jeff Tremaine was the I forgot what it was called, editor, I think, after the second issue. And it was their videos is what led into Jackass. Johnny Knoxville also come from Big Brother. So that's some pretty big characters, especially from our high school, or people my age's high school time. And also it was a skateboard magazine, but it was more like it was a skateboard magazine that wasn't focused on skateboarding. They had skateboarding, they had some tricks and stuff, but it was more about these people that worked there, and they become characters in the magazine, and just how it was about going to parties and getting screwed up and all that stuff. And there were several big, huge controversies about it, because it was sold with the skateboard magazines, and no situation was taboo. They had a early article about how to commit suicide. They had one about how to make fake IDs, different scams and stuff, and it was a real subjective humor thing that wasn't really done by anybody at the time. And it's noted in the documentary. They interview like Jonah Hill and stuff, and it was kind of everybody didn't get it, and everybody, also not everybody had access to Big Brother. I remember when I was in high school and I was buying skateboard magazines, Big Brother, they may have had it here, but by that time they were selling it in Mylar. It was sealed in a Mylar bags, and it was sold with adult books. Anyways, so he put together this ridiculous bunch of people. And again, if you watch the documentary, it's a lot of people you know, because it's people who transitioned over to the Jackass films. And it's a really interesting look at them before they was who they become. You know, when Steve-O was just nobody, he was this his first trick was like he was going to have another guy blow fire on him, and he had a mouthful of vodka or rubbing alcohol, and he was going to do a backflip or front flip one and spit it out while the guy's blew the fire, and it light the fire, the liquid out of his mouth, and instead of blowing it at his chest, it hit his head, and it like burnt his whole face. I mean, not obviously not to a crisp, it didn't leave terrible scars or nothing, but his whole face was burnt. And it was just, you know, stupid people doing stupid stuff. And Johnny Knoxville's first contribution was he was showing how to use different self-defense items, and it was like pepper spray, and it's 4 or 5 things. And the last one was he had a bulletproof vest, but he'd bought all this stuff, and he didn't have the means to buy like a $700-800 bulletproof vest, so he bought like a $150 or $200 bulletproof vest, and going to this where they was going to go, because you can't just have a gunshot out in I think they was in LA, and not, you know, the cops come or something, so they're going to go out to the woods, and the guy who was going to shoot Johnny Knox was like, I can't do it, man. I had a buddy that accidentally shot himself or something like that, and then the guy that was going to record was like, you know, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to record you kill yourself. So Loomis records it, and he shoots himself in the chest, but he's fine. I mean, he lives through it. And don't do any of this stupid shit. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It was funny at the time. You know, it's kind of looking back on it. Every once in a while, I'll watch on Netflix one of the Jackass movies, and I had this CKY videos, the Camp Kill Yourself videos, but I don't know what happened to them over the years. They've disappeared. And CKY videos, everybody probably knows CKY as the band that Bam's brothers in, but it was also his videos with his group of friends. And before Jackass, it was the CKY guys and the Big Brother guys, and they come together and made Jackass. There was 4 Big Brother videos released. It was Shit, Boob, Shit, number 2, Boob, and Crap was the names of them. And that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people's going to hate this video, but like skateboarding videos, especially when I was in high school, skateboarding videos, like, they existed, and you could order them out of like CCS or something, but I never had money to do that, and there wasn't really local skate shop till they opened Rat Cage. It was a tattoo parlor too, and that was, I was in my early 20s when they opened that, so there was really no outlet to purchase skate videos. So I can only imagine how hard it would have been to find these at that time. I've never seen them besides the clips that's shown in Dumb, and they was just buddies, you know, screwing around. It's not for everybody. I understand that. Jackass is stupid. It's ridiculous, but you know, they was having fun, and that was just, it was entertainment at the time. Or, you know, it's still entertainment, but a lot of people found it funny, found the humor in it. Big Brother was, I don't know what the word is called. It's not disavowed, but where it was no longer made. First, it was bought by Larry Flint because they couldn't. It ended up all the early issues, because they wouldn't never do it the same. Like, one of them was the size of Rolling Stone at the time, a big magazine. Then one of them had a spiral binding, like a notebook. Then one of them was comic book size. Then one of them come with a cereal box, and one of them come with trading cards. It was constantly something different. And anyways, in the early time, they was losing like $50,000 every time they printed one, which they wasn't printing it every month either. They was just printing it as they could. But I just wanted to review that because I just watched it. It's on Hulu. Hulu released it. I don't think Hulu made it. I think they bought the licensing for it. But they just released it like a couple weeks ago, I believe. I just seen it the other day. I was like, well, this might be interesting, and I watched it, and it was very interesting to me. But again, I understand that Jackass is not for everybody, and this won't be either. Like it's not some of their humor is really not funny to a lot of people. It's just stupid, and they say that time and again, they was just delinquent kids running wild with a magazine. But these guys become people that I'm not going to say looked up to, but everybody knew who they was. There was definitely celebrities at the time, and they're no more useless than the Kardashians. I mean, I don't like the Kardashians now, and people didn't like Jackass then, so there's that. Next, let's see. Oh, let me do the scores. It got 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. This is dumb. It got 3.5 out of 5 on Hulu, and it got 88% fresh from viewers. It don't have a review from the professional critics, but it probably would be mixed because again, it's not the viewers who's going to sit down and watch it. It's people who know who they are and who are interested in the story, or kind of that time. And critics aren't always like that. It's not. It's I think an honest look at them at the time, and it's funny to see like Wee Man when they first got him, and some of the other guys. I enjoyed it. Next is the Orville. I won't do Sons of Anarchy last because it'll be substantially longer because I'm gonna read the little rundown for each season and give my thoughts on it. I may actually make another video for it. Depends on how long this is. The Orville is an American science fiction comedy drama series created and starred Seth MacFarlane that premiered on September 10th, 2017. Then the new episodes were on Thursdays on Fox from 2017-2018 season. This show, when I finally watched it, it wasn't all the way out. It was still coming on TV. But the first 6 or 7 was out. And I didn't have, it was on demand on Comcast. I'm sure if you have Comcast on demand, it's still on there. And you can watch it on Fox.com, I believe. And Dumb, you can watch on Hulu again. But I was really hesitant about watching a live action Seth MacFarlane show. Because I like Family Guy, and I like American Dad, and the Cleveland Show. Like I enjoy all those, but I didn't feel like the humor that he has would really translate well into a live action show, especially one about kind of a Star Trek-esque show, and it probably wouldn't. And that's not what they done at all. I'm glad I gave it a chance because it was a really well-wrote show. The characters are amazingly real. They're actual characters, and Sons of Anarchy is the same way. They're people who can relate. You can relate to someone on the show. Everybody can find someone in the show that they relate to, and they're like, oh well, yeah, that's I'm like that, or I've been through that. It's a really, really good show, and MacFarlane's the star of the show. His name's Ed Mercer. He's an officer in Planetary's Union line of exploratory vessels. His career took a downturn following his divorce, and he's given the titular ship as his first command, only to discover his ex-wife, Kelly Grayson, has been assigned to be his first officer. Inspired by the television series Star Trek, the series tells the story of Mercer, Grayson, and the crew of the Orville as they embark on various diplomatic and exploratory missions. It's a planetary exploration ship, or mid-level exploratory space vessel in the Planetary Union. I'm not going to run through every episode of this. There's just been 12. Jon Favreau done the pilot. He was the producer for the pilot. And there's it's a good fun show. I mean, it don't take itself too seriously. They go to different planets and deal with different. It's always some kind of a social or some kind of a problem that they fix as a crew or work through, and it also is dealing with him and his ex-wife, because it turns out that his ex-wife's the reason he got the command of the ship, and it's an excellent show. It's well wrote, and I got to give kudos to Seth MacFarlane because I really didn't think that it was going to be that good. I've watched all the Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland shows, the cartoon comedy Cavalcade. Like, I'm a fan of Seth MacFarlane's, and I just did not think that it would work. But it turns out when you give a fanboy a production budget, they can really turn out something that's good, and he did. That's how they done when they done the Muppet movie, and Jason Segel was over it. He's a huge Muppet fan. And maybe Hollywood should take a look at that and do a little bit more of it, because the Orville is better than, in my opinion, and in most people's opinions that have, if you read comment boards and stuff, the new Star Trek series. And that's saying a lot, because Star Trek is a juggernaut of a fandom. There's a lot of people, and I hope it don't piss people off, but if there's Trekkies in here and they enjoy the new show, that's fine. That's my opinion on it, and several others. I've heard it from several people at the shop and stuff. It's a good show. It's so well written and fleshed out, and it's in space, and there's aliens and there is jokes, but it's not a slapstick comedy. And I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite new show that come out last year, because I don't hardly ever will I pick up on a new show. Usually it's got to be out for a little while for me to even notice it, because there's so much that comes out that you would spend so much time watching that's not good. It's not decent. It's just, and to some people obviously it is, because it got the pilot and got a budget and everything. But anyways, I enjoyed the Orville. It got 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, 8.5 out of 100 on TV.com. Now, are you ready for the Rotten Tomatoes reviews? It got 21% by critics and 91% by viewers. It got 21% from critics because most critics said the same thing. The Orville hasn't decided what it wants to be yet. Well, the Orville knows exactly what it wants to be, but it's not anything new. It's something. It's more akin and in the same vein of television as the original Star Trek series than probably any of them since then. And that's not what the critics normally want, something new and cutting edge and different. And it's not like that. It's something that's familiar, and it's something that's nice. It's fun. It's a show that you could literally sit down if you had kids. Like, I know when I was a child, we watched dinosaurs, and we watched when I get done with this video, I'll think like 10 of them. But there were shows like that my parents enjoyed, that they watched, that I could watch with them. And Orville's like that. I'm not saying that it's a kid's show by any means, but I feel like it's something that, and I wouldn't even say it's wholesome, but it's something that can be enjoyed by people of different generations together, because it's something that people relate to from different generations. My dad watched Star Trek. He watched this. Not all of them, but he watched a couple episodes with me, and he enjoyed it. It wasn't like his favorite show either. He's really into Survivor and reality TV now, but he did watch it and enjoy it. So that's what I'm saying, and that's not always the best thing. That's not what the critics are also always looking for, because it's not, like I said, it's not cutting edge. It's not. And also, the critic score, this shows in its first season. When this show's been on for 5 or 10 years, and it's made a whole story arc, or it's made the whole series arc, where this is what it is, it's a standalone thing, like Sons of Anarchy, the critics are probably going to change their tune, because they're going to have more time for all of those people to develop over 5-10 years. And, it may not make it 5 or 10 years. A lot of shows are cut off early. Like Serenity is one of the great shows. Serenity may be the movie, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's an amazing show that only got one season. Freaks and Geeks is an amazing show that only got, really amazing show that only got one season. And I'm gonna move on to Sons of Anarchy. I meant to bring my Sons of Anarchy DVDs in here. I didn't. I've got the whole series. I watched these when they come on TV. I enjoyed it all the way through. I got mad a lot because it's not as bad as Game of Thrones, but there's some real heart-wrenching, terrible things that happens. It's an American crime drama television series created by Kurt Sutter. Aired from 2008 to 2014, it follows the lives of a close-knit outlaw motorcycle club operating in Charmy, a fictional town in California's Central Valley. The show stars Charlie Hunnam as Jax Teller, who is initially the vice president and subsequently the president of the club. He soon begins to question the club and himself. Brotherhood, loyalty, and redemption are constant themes. It's, I think it's 7 seasons. Let me go down here and make sure. Yeah, it's 7 seasons, and each season has parallel plot lines that intertwine and overlap, centered on both the personal and family life of Jax Teller and on Sam Crow, which is Sons of Anarchy Motorcycle Club Redwood Original, which the Redwood, I'll explain that in a minute. They're involved with gun running in the western United States. They deal with rival gangs, politicians, and authorities. It's said to resemble a Hells Angels club. It includes appearances from David LaBrava, Chuck Zito, Rusty Coons, and Sonny Barger, and they are actual Hells Angels members. I'm sure in some aspects it does resemble a motorcycle club and what actually goes on, but I don't feel like it's exactly what happens in a motorcycle club. I've never been in one. I've been around some, but I mean, it's TV, and there's tons of controversy about that, and people didn't like it because it portrayed it in a bad light or whatever. But it's TV. I mean, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is not a perfect example of a police department. I'm sure stuff that happens in Brooklyn Nine-Nine happens in police departments, but it doesn't represent what a police department is, because it's a TV show and a police department's real life. Sam Crow, Sons of Anarchy is a TV show. Hells Angels, Outlaws, Mongols, all those are real life clubs. It's different. It's completely different. You're not gonna watch this and be like, start a motorcycle club. It's a terrible idea. Anyways, the series began with the destruction of a warehouse the club used to store and assemble guns. It's their main source of income. Rival MC done it. It was the Mayans, best I can remember, and it happened right before Jax's ex-wife, right before his ex-wife overdosed, and she's pregnant. She had an emergency C-section, and their son Abel was delivered 10 weeks prematurely. Jax finds his father's memoirs when he visits a storage unit to collect some of old baby clothes. John Teller, Jax's father, was one of the founders of Sam Crow, and the book describes his trials with and hopes for the club. Jax's mother, Gemma Teller Morrow, is now married to the president of Sam Crow, Clay Morrow. Jax's best friend Opie has just been released from prison for serving time for a club-related crime. The first season deals with Jax trying to reconcile things happening to the club with what he reads in his father's memoirs. Opie trying to take a lesser role in the club, and local and federal law enforcement trying to shut down Sam Crow. This has got a cast that pretty well. I was going to go in more detail, but that's a great overview of what happens. But this cast of people that they put together for this is one of the best casts in TV, in my opinion, in the history of TV. Like, it's one of the, you see these after watching the show. You see these people in other stuff, and you think, oh, that's Happy from Sons of Anarchy, or oh, that's Opie from Sons of Anarchy, or oh, that's Jax from Sons of Anarchy. And that may, in the long run, for some of the lesser known actors, become problems for them by being typecast. I hope not, because all these people are really, really great actors and actresses. Charlie Hunnam is Jax. Katie Seagal plays his mother, Gemma. Mark Boone Jr. plays Bobby Elvis. Kim Coates plays Tig. Tommy Flanagan plays Chibs. I'm not sure who. I don't remember Johnny Lewis. Ron Perlman is Clay. Ryan Hurst is Opie. Theo Rossi is Juice. It takes me a minute because it's been a little while since I watched all these. Jimmy Smits plays a OG Mexican gangster, and he does a great job. Moving on, season 2, white separatists called the League of American Nationalists, Lone, arrive in Charming. Lone's leader, Ethan Zobel, and Zobel's enforcer, A.J. Weston, seek to drive Sons of Anarchy from Charming. Send a message to Sam Crow. Zobel orchestrates to have Jimmy kidnapped and gang raped by Weston and 2 others. Due to the improper handling, crap, my tablet just screwed up. Of an internal problem, the rift between Clay and Jax continues to widen as Jax challenges most of Clay's decisions and comes to a head when a lone car bomb nearly kills another member of Sam Crow. The second season sees Sam Crow battling Lone for control of Charming, Jax and Clay veering further apart in their individual visions for the club and evading the ever-present threat of the ATF. Yeah, that's like I said, I was going to try to elaborate, but this is exactly how it went. Gemma has been hiding, season 3 now. Gemma has been hiding in Rogue River, Oregon with Tig at the home of Gemma's father, Nate, who suffers from dementia. Gemma struggles when she takes Nate to his new assisted living home, and he pleads to be taken back to this house. She returns to Charming to reunite with her grandson, unaware he has been kidnapped. The return of ATF agent Stahl twists the facts about the murder of Donna. Stahl attempts to make a deal with Jax behind the club's back. Father Kellen Ashby's sister Maureen contacts Gemma at Ashby's request and tells her Abel is safe in Belfast. Upon learning of her grandson's abduction, Gemma suffers a cardiac arrhythmia and collapses in the Teller Morrow lot. After the club returns from Ireland and brings home Abel, Agent Stahl double-crosses Jax and tells the club about the side deal Jax made with her, unaware that Jax and the club had planned it all along, knowing Stahl would back out of the deal. Jax, Clay, Bobby, Tig, Juice, and Happy are hauled away to jail, while Opie, Chibs, and the Prospects are all en route following Stahl. Opie kills Stahl to avenge the death of his wife, Donna. Opie, this is also based on the Shakespeare play, I think it's Hamlet. It's got Ophelia and I think it's Hamlet. I'm pretty sure it's Hamlet. Season 4. The imprisoned Sam Crow members leave the penitentiary after a 14-month stay and are met by Lieutenant Eli Roosevelt of the San Joaquin Sheriff's Department, the new law enforcement presence in Charming. They also discover Hale has become the mayor. U.S. Attorney Lincoln Potter seeks Lieutenant Roosevelt's help to build a RICO case against Sam Crow. He wants to tear it all down. And Lincoln Potter, the guy that plays him, can't think of his name right now, but he plays an excellent part, which he always does in everything he's in. This also has, somewhere right in here, it has a guest appearance by Walton Goggins, who when he come on this show, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know anything about him, and he plays a ridiculous part. And it wasn't until years later that I watched Justified I really knew how great of an actor Walton Goggins is, because he is oh crap, what's his name? It's Boyd Crowder. He's Boyd Crowder on Justified. Season 5. In retaliation for the death of Veronica Pope, Leroy's girlfriend, who is also the daughter of the powerful Oakland kingpin Damon Pope, the Niners attack Sam Crow and ambush a cargo shipment. With the death of Piney Winston and the growing conflict between the Niners and Sam Crow, along with several home invasions and targeting people linked to the club, Jax is forced to meet with Damon Pope to face a new threat unlike Sam Crow has ever faced. It's season 6. Following the arrest of Tara and Clay, Jax struggles to hold Sam Crow together while Tara is in prison. Torek approaches both Tara and Clay and offers them deals in exchange for giving up Sam Crow. Both initially refuse, but Clay later relents when confronted with being thrown into prison's general population and assuredly being killed off by inmates paid off by Damon Pope's men as a retaliation for Pope's murder. Juice returns to Charming after helping Bobby relocate after stepping down as VP, which angers Chips, who doesn't believe Juice has been punished enough for talking to the cops and later beats him. With the growing romance between Gemma and Nero, the death of Clay Morrow, and the death of Tara, tables get turned and the club starts to go in a new, darker direction. Jack struggles with his recent loss and turns himself into the authorities. While in jail, he makes decisions that radically alter the direction of the club and uses it to exact revenge. Another member's death fuels the hate and lies created by Gemma and Juice, who are on the run and hiding from the club. After Jax learns the truth, he works to make things right with all parties involved. The series ends with Jax making the ultimate sacrifice to complete his part of the story of Sam Crow and fulfill his father's vision. This show, man, especially the way I had to watch it, because I watched this as it was coming on TV. I didn't have the luxury of getting to watch it all at once, get to binge watch it. But man, if you want to binge watch a show, this one is one of the best. Hamlet. It's a Hamlet. It's very similar to Hamlet. It had a amazing soundtrack. The soundtrack to this thing is just amazing, and it's just an all around great show. I can't really say enough about how good it is because I enjoyed it so much. And there's 3 EPs that all sold ridiculously well. There's so much music, and there's a comic book, and there's a novel series, and there's a couple games, and now Kurt Sutter is they've filmed, I'm pretty sure, it's not a prequel, but it's a spin-off, and it's the Mayans MC that should be coming on pretty soon on FX or Fox. Anyways, guys, I'd love to keep talking about it, but this is probably my longest video at 32 minutes. I may have to start doing, because there's several of these longer shows like that I'd like to review that's already out, like Justified and Breaking Bad. I may do separate videos for those, and I may edit this where it's 2 videos. But anyways, I'll probably just upload it and then do the other next time. I appreciate everyone watching. I hope all y'all are having a great day. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment. Please tell me what y'all want to see. If this works for y'all, do y'all want to see more of it, or do you want to see different stuff? Just let me know, and I hope everybody's having a great day. We'll see y'all next time.